the Rogers, John Rogers children would like to make a special presentation to our dad.
All right. My father, Mr. John Rogers. I'll never forget one time when he came to my room upstairs. It was me and Malcolm. He said, Kareem, you know what? I never lose. he said, I'm John Rogers, I never lose. And that's my father. He never lost in being a father, and being a supporter, and being a mentor, and saying everything that you said you were going to be. You never lost. John Rogers. I know I'm one of the greatest blessings you ever had. but seriously, I've tried to model my life to be just like yours. From all the expectations, and you set the bar high for me, and I always try to strive for it on a daily basis. We talk all the time. I was just telling my siblings, it's times that I call you when I know that I need to hear what you got to say, even though I don't want to hear it. You might not agree once you get off the phone. But I know I call you just so you can tell me the advice I need to go on with my day or set my goals or my expectations to further my life. And I appreciate that. So from your persona, from how you take care of your kids and you treat my mother and everyone else, I've seen your personality change over the years. I told people that before. I've seen you be very aggressive to how you are now. You're so kind and loving. Sometimes I think you give too much, but I know you cannot give enough. So just want to tell you I appreciate you as a father, and keep setting the bar high. I'm chasing. I'm chasing it every day. So I really appreciate it.
The next presentation is from his oldest daughter, Angela Young, she's in Texas now. I have her on speakerphone. Angela, you up next?
You hear that when she talks.
What's the value of
Hold on.
That's probably out of view.
No, this is this iPhone. That's why we shoot the Galaxy.
Television commercial.
Angela, you on?
Angela, you up next? Okay, this
I'm getting situated.
I'm getting situated.
We don't have no more. You gotta go next.
Hello, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Angela.
I miss y'all.
Angela.
Love you.
I just wanted to tell you that John Rogers, I love you. I will always love you. You are the first man that I've ever known to love me the way that I'm supposed to be loved. You taught me perseverance and dedication and integrity. And I love you for that. And I pray that God continues to give you long life today and forevermore. I love you.
Thank you, Angela.
When we talk about the Rogers legacy, we talk about strong men and women. I was taught about how Uncle Sonny would take Uncle Plug-in and Pops to his classroom, he's a lawyer, and teach them discipline about, being organized. We talk about legacy. We talk about Olie Mae Rogers, who taught our kids to be entrepreneurs, taught our kids to play scramble and understand the meaning of words, and taught our kids always to stand up for themselves, which we still see today when it comes to Pops fighting, whatever battles he has to fight, or even Uncle Pluggy fight, in Inglewood with Norfolk Railroad. We talk about legacy. We talk about two African-American Moorish men who are still fighting today to make sure that the next generation is going to be prepared for the fight left ahead of them. So when we talk about Rogers' legacy, we're not just talking about for our intermediate family. We talk about two guys that sacrificed for all, black people, for the next generation, whether it's through education, whether it's through legal situations, and definitely when it comes to history. So when we talk about Rogers, we talk about people who are fighting for the small people in the world today.
And so, on behalf of Angela and Johnny and Deborah and Paulette and myself and Malcolm and JP and Kareem, we, the Rogers children, we are the founders of the new non-for-profit called the John P. Rogers Real Estate Foundation, for which you have invested in the legacy that you have with your outstanding leadership and your legacy to increase the number of African Americans in the real estate industry, we present to you and honor you, our dad, with this plaque and foundation that we have started in your name. Kids, every year we would give away 8 scholarships to African Americans who want to, start a career in the real estate field. Thank you, Daddy.
Good job.
And that was our presentation. Any words, Father?
Speech. I want to say, first of all, that I love my brother a lot. I'm glad that God blessed me with him. He's a great man, and I cherish him a lot, and I respect him, and I appreciate him. I love my wife. Always in my life, she calmed me down because I was very aggressive. I believe that it's part of my military background, being a military brat and being born in the military. I've always wanted a lot of kids in my life and raised a lot of kids. I've always said that black men should never stop taking care of their kids because they don't have a relationship with the kid's mother. That has nothing to do with your responsibilities to your kids. Your kid needs you, especially black kids need their fathers. When I was a probation officer, I learned at that point I didn't understand it, but I understand it now. Regardless of what a parent does to a child, that child still wants some kind of connection to that parent, regardless of what situation, if they abandon them or abuse them. Sometimes they still want that identity. I remember I always wanted to at least be able to see my father. I never knew what he looked like, and I always wanted to at least see if I looked like him or if I walked like him or what he looked like. And one day he finally popped up, and I think I was maybe 8 or 9 years old. I had to be about 9 because I was working. And I've had a job ever since I was 8 years old. I'll be 64 this year. So when my father came along and he said, "Oh, I got $5, I got $10 for you," I told him, keep it. I don't need it. I got $10 myself. And I was 9 years old. From that point on, I always thought that maybe he felt that I didn't need anything from him because he never actually did anything for me as far as I was concerned. My mother always said to me, "Yeah, you're always running up behind your father. He don't never do nothing for you." And I never understood what she meant by that because he was still my father and I still needed him. A man needs a role model that he can try to emulate or somebody he can look up to and go to and talk to when he's got problems. Women have that because they got the mama, but the man, he don't have that. So I didn't understand what my mother meant until I got to be older and started having my own kids. One thing that I learned too is that a lot of black men go through different cycles in their life and they emulate the type of parents that raised them. A lot of black men don't know how to love their man child or their female child because they weren't loved. They didn't have that. In slavery, if a black man or a black woman showed love, they talked about love, they either separated you or sold you. So you couldn't talk about love. So I learned a long time ago that you gotta talk about love in your family, especially a black man. You gotta teach your kids to talk that. You gotta tell your kids you love them. You gotta hug them. You gotta encourage them to do different things. You gotta promote them. If you don't do that, then you're not fulfilling your job as their parent, as their father. So I learned a long time ago that you got to tell your kids that you love them and that you appreciate them and what you want them to be. I don't want my kids to be like me. See what I'm saying? I'm rinky-dink from what I want you to be. See what I'm saying? I'm rinky-dink of what I want you to be. I want you to have everything that I didn't have. So if I find an easy way for you to be able to get out there and make it in this world where these white people think they so smart and they run everything when they not, then I'm gonna show you and I'm gonna teach you and I'm gonna promote you so that you can get out here and be your best. And in my life cycle, what I've learned is real estate is one of the highlights in America, because black people weren't allowed to have too much real estate. You always stayed in the same block and the same neighborhoods. It's funny too, and I'm a black man and I'm a real estate investigator. That just is so horrendous. I mean, it just shocks me how life cycles have changed. So I always promote my kids in trying to go into real estate. All they got to do is say, yeah, Dad, and I'll pay for it, okay? And if I have property, I don't want my property, they can have it. I done did everything that I wanted with it. So even though I plan to buy more, but I want my kids to be able to have something that's real. So I'm saying, I don't want them to fight over me when I die, because I'm not going to leave you anything. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. If you don't get real estate from me, if you don't get it from me while I'm here, I'm not leaving you nothing. Because if you didn't get it while I was here, I ain't finna leave you nothing when I leave. You have to get that on your own. You know what I'm saying? So all they gotta do is tell me, Dad, I wanna go into real estate. I'll pay for that. Because I know that that's lifelong and that'll last a lifetime. And that's a forbidden entity that black people weren't allowed to get into. But a lot of that's changing. A lot of that's changing. But I love my family. I love all my kids. I love my wife. I love my brother. I love my sister. I love my family. I always try to make sure I tell them that. Sometimes I'll just be at work and I just need to tell everybody that I love them. So I text everybody out. I love all of y'all. I do that on a regular basis because it's necessary, it's needed. I'm proud of what you're doing. You don't have to be like me, be better than me. Okay, but I want you to know that I love you. If I don't do nothing else for you, I want you to know that I love you. So, I'm 64 this year, and I hope I get to be 84. If I don't, I did the best I can. If I didn't do enough, I'm sorry. I did the best I could. That's all I can do. I'm getting to the point now where I want to do something different, and hopefully I'll live that long, but if I don't, I'm comfortable with the way things are. And I want everybody to know that I love my family, and I want to tell everybody thank you for listening to me.
Next week we'll have a Facebook up in honor of you, and most importantly we will do an annual fundraising event planner right here. We'll do an annual event in honor of him and in honor of this non-for-profit that is the John Rogers Real Estate Foundation. So we honor you again, Daddy. We love you, and everyone continue to enjoy your Thanksgiving. Amen. God bless you.